And now this from Ian Rappoport from the NFL Network, that Roquan Smith will not be participating in training camp when veterans report tomorrow because of his contract situation. Smith has not yet received an offer he would remotely consider. Thus, he'll wait. That from Ian Rappoport. This strikes me as a situation that could have been avoided with at least an offer that he would remotely consider, or the furthering of conversations to a good point. I know you are feeling like you are far away from being a competitive football team, and middle linebacker is thought to be a more fungible position than perhaps an edge rusher or a dominant cover corner, things like that. But this guy is exactly what you want your identity to be as a defense and, frankly, overall as a football team. And to not have him there as you try to install and build culture seems like a terrible thing.
Yeah, I think, we were talking about it earlier, Speaks. It's all about evaluation this year, but there's no need to evaluate Roquan Smith. You know who he is. You know you want him at the core of your defense. But the key to a good relationship is communication. And the fact that no one is communicated to either person to say, hey, this is what we want, or these are what our expectations are. That's the troubling part of this whole thing. But shout out to Roquan Smith, his own agent, putting that out there. I think that's great.
It's irresponsible.
For who?
For Roquan.
Why?
It's irresponsible.
Why?
Because you need that middleman. You need the middleman to focus on those things.
To not have an agent. Irresponsible to not have an agent.
Correct. If you're an idiot, maybe, yeah. But if you feel like you're capable.
Yeah, I'm sure he is capable. But there's a reason that agents exist. There's a reason that there's a middleman there to take away the distraction that you don't have to deal with.
What if he feels it's not a distraction?
Well, if he feels it's not a distraction, then he's wrong, because 99.9% of the league feel it's a distraction.
Let me tell you, in a business where guys like me have agents, I have particularly vacillated back and forth. Just today, I had a conversation with my guy, bringing him in on something that I thought I could handle. Literally, today, I had that conversation. Now, I am not a world-class athlete. I am a much older man. I am theoretically more mature, more emotionally mature, more able to compartmentalize stuff. It is a ridiculous challenge that is, frankly, worth the percentage in most businesses. And in the NFL, Roquan, I mean, I'm more on Shane's side than I am on yours with this one, Gabe, because I know, man, it doesn't feel good.
Somebody play it. Tanny, did you do the defensive sounder thing? Because I need that right now, because I don't have an agent.
Again, it would be the entire show if we had a sounder for Shane's defensiveness.
No. This one's for me.
Oh, for you.
This is for me.
So when anyone gets defensive.
Because I don't have an agent, nor have I had one my entire career in radio.
Okay.
And so when I hear this about Roquan, I think to myself, why have I not had an agent? Because I've had talent come up to me that don't know how to read their own contract. And so it's like if you took 5 minutes and read your contract, you'd see it's not jargon. It's just something that you can actually digest. And I think in Roquan's case, he understands, hey, I need this. First of all, the fact that he's willing to sit out like a guy would do, even if he had an agent, the agent would probably tell him, don't go to training camp. The agent would say, we're not doing anything until we get a new contract.
Now, that is entirely possible that would happen exactly like that.
With Roquan Smith.
So putting this on Roquan's agentlessness as being a reason this happens is probably a little short-sighted, because it happens all over the league to guys who do have agents.
But I think what Shane's saying is, had he had an agent, maybe he wouldn't have gotten to this point.
Correct.
Right. I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you, Sean. Validate.
Heard.
You know I like to validate your feelings.
Of course. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Take note, bro. That's what you got to do with Shane.
He's got a new regime. So with the agent, I've worked something out with Ryan Pace, last year as I mix up my Ryans. Or are you talking about an agent working something out with Ryan Poles now?
I think when Poles comes in immediately, you have that conversation. If you're his agent or if you're Roquan, whatever that might be, what does it look like? What does the future look like? Does the future of the Chicago Bears include Roquan Smith? And if he says, well, we don't know, we're evaluating our talent, then both he and his agent will both say, well, you need to evaluate that right now, because I want this contract extension, because I don't want to play a year without one waiting for me at the end of the season.
Look, there's a couple ways to talk about this, and we will talk about in a moment the awkward offseason that has been for Ryan Poles, the bumpiness that has been there. But first and foremost, they have room to make this contract happen right the hell now. There are creative ways to do it. I know you've got a lot of dead cap and you have awkwardness, but you've gotten rid of that with some of these guys that you've traded on. You've moved on from other stuff. There are ways to structure this where you'd be fine for this year, and then your future years are wide open.
Yeah.
So it seems to me to be very irresponsible to have this guy, who I think is going to be this important to being on the same page with Matt Eberflus and all your new defensive coaches. This is a leader, whether you think he deserves to be or not. He is a leader. And we've heard multiple stories about him going into the locker room, talking to people, putting it out there. And the way he plays is leadership. He's what you want.
Yeah.
So to have him not there is really bad leadership on Poles' part to me.
And when you're looking at some of the other franchises in Chicago, like the Bulls, they have a bad reputation of not taking care of their players, which is why they needed to sign a guy like Zach LaVine to that contract. And when you're looking at Roquan Smith and the new regime that is in the front office, this could have been a statement piece. Because when you're looking at trying to attract free agents in the years to come, they are going to look at this moment. It is bad PR for the Chicago Bears for Roquan Smith to be sitting out. The fact that we're all, speaking the way we are about him in this situation is bad in itself. Mm-hmm. And free agents and guys that want to come to the Chicago Bears are going to say, if you are not willing to take care of Roquan Smith, one of the best linebackers in all of NFL, what makes you think you're going to take care of me when I get there?